Hello there, and welcome to the Time Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz like there's no tomorrow. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host John.
Hey!
That's such a long thing to say without taking a breath.
Yeah.
How are you this week?
Yes, I'm doing well. Yeah, just can't wait to discuss more on well, not more, but on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and more on the stuff I've been watching this week.
Yeah, we didn't do Falcon and Winter Soldier last week because obviously we did our big Snyder Cut video.
Yes.
So I hope everyone enjoyed that.
Yes, and we will be doing restore the Snyder Verse video in the future.
Yeah, we are planning to do a video on restoring the Snyder Verse in a couple of weeks, so that should be quite fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got quite a bit. Obviously, we didn't do any news last week, so we've got quite a bit of news to kind of talk about.
Big chunky news.
Big chunky news, indeed.
Yes.
So I'm going to start off with some casting news, of course. What else?
Of course.
So, Marvel's Secret Invasion TV show has cast its villain in the form of Kingsley Ben-Adir, who you might know from the film One Night in Miami, and he plays Malcolm X. He is really, really good in that film.
Yeah.
And there's no like particular information on who he could be playing. There's speculation and all, but nothing really. But obviously, this is a Secret Invasion show, so he could be playing some sort of Skrull, or maybe continuing the Captain Marvel plot line, and he could be playing some sort of evil Kree. I mean, you've read the Secret Invasion comics.
Yeah,
so what are you thinking?
It's one of those big chunky Marvel comics that I've read. I mean, alongside with Secret Empire. I mean, they love the secrets, don't they? They love.
It's like how DC has Crisis. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Crisis on Earth X. Infinite Crisis. Marvel has just Secret War, Secret Invasion, Secret Empire. They love it.
They just love the secrets, but hopefully, what the Secret Invasion TV show has in store, there's going to be possibilities that tensions are going to be really high, or moments that that are shown in the comics, and at the start of the comic, it's shown off to be very, very intense, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening. So hopefully that will have the same catastrophic things that's happening in the comics, or that lead ups to some very interesting thing in Marvel.
Yeah, I wonder if this is going to be, because I always thought if you're going to do Secret Invasion, you do it as an Avengers film. And obviously, they can do it as a show if they bring in characters we already know. If they bring in like a pre-existing Avengers and they have them be Skrulls, and they have the whole question. I think that's what you need to do in a Secret Invasion story, whether or not it be a film or a show. And I just hope they get that down. And you've read the comic more recently than I have, should I say?
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit misty on the ending, but I think at the end, the Super Skrull comes out, who has all the powers. Does that happen?
I'm not too sure on that one, because I think there was a huge battle at the end, and then spoilers for this. Thor came back. If you knew what happened in Civil War, most people thought Thor died, and that was an android of Thor. And that was very shocking. But then this was the Thor that came back to life, and everyone was surprised that he was back. And this is you can see the relationship between Steve and Tony, that they were after Civil War. But I'm not too sure. There was a huge battle at the end, all the villains.
Yeah, I've got it out now. Actually, I'm just looking through. It just seems to be a fight against a Skrull army.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So yeah. I don't. I mean, so this casting, I'm really unsure as to who this potential villain could be. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah. So keeping it on the superhero track. we actually have, I mean, pretty much all of this is superhero news this week, but DC are going to be making an Hourman film. So now people might know Hourman from Stargirl, which is a great show. That's on Amazon Prime for people in the UK, so that's like definitely worth watching. Hourman's powers in that show, and this is the extent of the knowledge that I have, so I haven't read any of his comics, but his powers are basically he has like an hourglass, and when he turns it, he has super strength for a limited period of time. So it seems like DC are going to be making an Hourman film, and obviously the Hourman is associated with Justice Society of America, who we know will be featuring in the Black Adam film. So I don't know, I'm wondering, are they going to be building some sort of, Justice Society corner of the DC, films, centering around Black Adam and various others, maybe Shazam, building this kind of interconnected thing that will climax with Black Adam and Shazam finally kind of meeting and fighting.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see all these characters develop into a team or something that leading up to Crisis for something.
Yeah, they could do some sort of Crisis.
Yeah, hopefully there will be some sort of Crisis movie because that is devastating. If you read Crisis on Infinite Earths, that is such is there another word for crazy? But like a massive, just scale of
it's a huge event, and I'm wondering. Obviously, it'd be a good thing to build up towards, but they've already done it in the TV shows, which we know because of the scene. Spoilers if you haven't seen Crisis, but with the scene with Grant Gustin's Flash meeting Ezra Miller Flash, they confirmed it being all connected together. So I do wonder, and with Flashpoint, the film, introducing the multiverse with the different Batmen, I wonder, is the plan now to, build up this multiverse to eventually break it all down with Crisis? I think that'd be very interesting.
Yeah, maybe their version of Crisis. I think that's going to be like more time to develop it into something like really good. I heard there was like some problems with Crisis Infinite TV show, the TV version. Was there any problems?
I think it's. I mean, it's enjoyable, but I think it's juggling a lot of plates. It's a crossover that has to tell the story of so many characters. Each episode has to have its own kind of cast, has its own kind of like reoccurring cast of each show, and then it also on top of that has to show the scale of the event by pulling in different universes. And I think episodes 1, 3, and 4 are really, really good at it, but I think 2 and 5 and just points throughout, they go for spectacle over character, and it's like because each episode has to have like a similar structure of like action. You kind of lose some of the character moments, which is a little bit of a shame.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. But another DC film that DC are wanting to make is a Zatanna film, and so they've been wanting to make this film for quite a while. Zatanna, of course, being a magician in the DC universe, and they have just pegged Emerald Fennell, who wrote and directed Promising Young Woman, which has been nominated for Best Director and Best Picture at the Oscars. It might have also been nominated for Best Original Screenplay. And obviously I talked about in the pod how much I loved it so much. It's coming to Now TV. I paid for it on Amazon Prime, but it's coming to Now TV on April 16th. So,
nice.
I don't know whether your account would have gone by that point, because that's like about a month since Snyder Cut. But
it's gonna go. But
if you still have Now TV at that point, I definitely recommend, and anyone else listening, definitely recommend listening to Promising Young Woman. But anyway, yeah. So she is writing the Zatanna film, and I think that's really, really cool, because I think she has such a fresh take on kind of like talking about the female experience in Promising Young Woman. And I think DC are doing really, really well with their female creatives. You think Wonder Woman, you think Birds of Prey. They're doing really, really well with that, and I'm really excited to see where Zatanna goes. I mean, what do you think about this?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I really like that. Like having I feel like Marvel has like not have a lot of like stunted films with like I mean there's one or two female films. I mean you got Captain Marvel and you got um Black Widow, but what DC doing right now is just really good. Like they're having like female directors or creators and writers just to like have their own way of doing it, and hopefully without studio interference. And having the Zatanna films is going to be pretty cool. Like if you read the comic Batman Damned, that's the first. Well, that's like the first time I literally knew Zatanna the first time. So
Yes.
yeah.
I agree with you. I think that, pretty much since 2017, since the mess that was Justice League, DC have really leaned, they've kind of think, okay, well, the whole approach, the connected universe approach isn't exactly working for us. And so what they're doing, I think, is really great. They're pulling, they're relying on their directors. You think Joker, you think Aquaman, you think Shazam, you think Birds of Prey, you think Wonder Woman 84. People have varying opinions on those films, but they are all the visions of directors and creatives. For the most part, they are. And you even see the Snyder Cut. Finally, DC are giving that chance, and I'm really happy about that. I heard a really nice quote. Someone was talking about the Snyder Cut, and they say that when you watch a Marvel movie, you're not watching a director play in that sandbox. You're not watching them take on they're not. It's not their interpretation of the characters. You're seeing the sandbox. Marvel is the sandbox. You're not watching the interpretation of the directors inside it. You're just seeing the thing itself, and it works really well for those films. But for DC, it's so good to get to see directors, play in that sandbox, create different interpretations, different tones, different styles, and I think it works so well.
Yeah, like what you said, like having those styles, and it's great to like. We will be talking about the Suicide Squad trailer, but
Yes.
like you can see of how each DC film has their own style with the director, and that's very cool and happy to see because it's their control, their creative control, and it's so satisfying to see that because normally in superheroes it's just like what you're saying, like characters are there just for the action, just like there for some style, and it's just like some like huge action that's happening, or you know what I mean, like
If you look at the best comic book films, most of the time, obviously there are some that that are the Marvel kind of studio formula. But if you look at the best comic book films, for me, you're talking, Spider Verse, Kick Ass, Scott Pilgrim, and all of those are just, kind of bathed in the director's visions,
Oh, sorry, don't forget Logan.
Logan, right, exactly. Like all these films, The Dark Knight, I could list loads of them, and they are all so distinctively, the visions of the creatives and the styles coming to life. And I think that's just so valuable. It's so good when I see a comic book film or a comic book property. I think I'm going to say this in Falcon and Winter Soldier when we talk about it. It's just so good to see that kind of come across. In the same way as the comics will just have thousands of different interpretations of things.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see that director's interpretation or writer's interpretation. So that's pretty cool. Pretty happy to be looking forward to it. I don't know how to word that.
Yeah, definitely. But on a slightly sadder note, our next piece of news is Ann Sarnoff, who is the CEO of Warner Brothers currently, did an interview with Variety, I think it was, and she did unfortunately, voice that Warner Brothers at this point aren't interested in doing the in restoring the Snyder Verse, not interested in continuing that vision. They wanted to complete that trilogy, and she did say that they have no plans to do the David Ayer cut either, which is sad that this isn't happening. But I think it is important to remember for this that she isn't the head of everything. There's Warner Media and AT&T to take into account. There are people above her, and also of course this was before the huge boom in Restore the Snyderverse tweets. A couple of days ago there were 1.5 million tweets in a day, which made it the the most tweeted about hashtag in Hollywood in a day in terms of a Hollywood film, beating Avengers Endgame. So she did make a statement saying that they have no plans, but then that also happened. So who knows? But yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, yeah, just pretty sad to like they're not restoring it, and as well the David Ayer cut. So it's not like, well, I'm just like just disappointed, because there's like huge success with the Snyder cut, and like there has been like reports about like the HBO Max like crashing due to so many people watching the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping to see that Warner Brothers will see the tweets and like give it a chance. Like maybe see like what like the fans really want, and this could be like a start, like like the fans like needing something to have like a director's vision, because it's really good, and so I'm hoping that there's going to be something that will that'll get their attention, because there's like 1.4 million tweets, and that's just crazy.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think that they, she says in the interview that they want to go in their own direction. They have plans. So many films coming out, and that's so cool. I'm so excited for so many things that are coming out. As we just spoke about, the idea that all these directors are going to get to, make these films about kind of obscure characters as well. I wouldn't have thought Hourman or Zatanna would be getting their own film, and that's great. But it'd also be great to see both. Like, why not have, a Batfleck show at the same time as the Batman? I really think that they can do they can just bring stuff for everyone, and I think audiences will eat it up. I don't think audiences will ever really be like, oh, I don't want to see this comic book film, because most of the time they really do.
Yeah. And just like hearing that statement, that's pretty cool. But like, hoping more to see more Snyder, but who knows?
Well, we'll go into depth in that when we do our video on it in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
But there was some date changes as well for some comic book films. So The King's Man, which has been it's been as many films. It was supposed to release a whole yonk ago, and now it's coming out 22nd of December this year. And Shang-Chi has been pushed back from July to the 3rd of September. But the biggest one is Black Widow. So Bob Chapek, who is the CEO of Disney currently, was very adamant. We're not putting this film on streaming. We want it to have a cinema release, and it's going to come out in May. Well, seemingly they changed their mind. Black Widow is now going to be releasing on the 9th of July. So that's just after Loki. So it would be way after Falcon and Winter Soldier, and just after Loki. So there'll be a bit more of a break than I kind of expected there. And it will have a simultaneous release in cinemas and on Disney Plus with Premiere Access. So, whether or not cinemas are open wherever you are, you'll be able to pay £15, $20, however much it is, to watch the film. What do you think?
This is just like too much. Like we got Loki, we got Black Widow, like on streaming and on cinemas. That's going to be like so packed, and I feel like again, like Marvel just taking over again, like not having like a lot of things. Like I mean, like it's just getting a bit tiring. But hopefully, but the thing is that cinemas will be reopening April or May.
Yeah,
is it?
Hopefully.
Yeah. So, but coming out in July, that's going to be like a contributing factor. Like why cinemas are not like having like a lot of success because of like streaming services. Because streaming services are very, very successful right now with Netflix, with Disney Plus, and
I think Disney Plus just passed like 100 million subscribers.
Yeah, and that's just like crazy, because Disney Plus came out like in UK in March, but like having 100 million, like that's going to be a bit shocking, because of like cinemas reopening, and cinemas need that a lot of money to have that support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they definitely do. We live near a Cineworld, so that's where we kind of go. And I hope that they can come back. And they just signed a deal with Warner Brothers actually to because obviously Warner Brothers wanted all their films just to go to HBO Max, but they have signed a deal with Cineworld to keep putting films out there, which is great. Not only to get the cinema experience, but keep jobs, keep people in jobs, keep the doors open, that kind of stuff. And I'm really excited to go back. But at the same time, if we don't get to, if we don't have the chance to watch it at the cinema, I am prepared to pay.
I am ready as well to pay the cinema tickets and be that excited again, smell the popcorn.
It's like if the cinemas don't open and Black Widow is put on Premiere Access, I didn't pay for Raya and the Last Dragon, I didn't pay for Mulan, but I think I would pay for Black Widow only so we can talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah. Again, I'm not too excited for Black Widow because it looks very like generic story.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and but. If there's like something shocking to it, like something that like, oh my god, this is a game changer. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, I think that I again, I'll talk about this in the main segment, but I have a little bit of renewed faith at the moment for Marvel. So I'm hopeful that they kind of don't drop the ball, because I'm really liking Falcon the Winter Soldier at the moment, like a lot.
Yeah, Falcon the Winter Soldier is just like really, really good, which will be talked about if you want to skip.
Yeah, of course, time codes. Go there if you want to. But until then, we have another piece of villain news, actually. So Helen Mirren has been cast as the villain in Shazam 2. So Shazam, Fury of the Gods, as it is called, begs the question, is Helen Mirren going to be playing some sort of god? At the end of the first film, there was that... I mean, I can't remember what it was called, the caterpillar thing that was talking to Dr. Zatanna.
Yeah, the big brain.
Yeah, right. Brain. That was voiced by the director. So I'm interested. Not a lot of female villains in comic book films, so it's good to see them. I think this is the first. Let me think. No, it's not. It's not. I was gonna say it's the first female villain of the DCEU, but it's not, because such memorable characters as Enchantress. Thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's favourite villain. But yeah, I'm interested. I think Helen Mirren's a good actress. And yeah, I liked the first Shazam. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good, I think. And I hope that the second film is better. Or just as good. I'd take a film that's as good. I think it was a fun film. I really like how other people really seem to, kind of gravitate towards that style of filmmaking. So I hope that, they can kind of continue it and build up to that Shazam Black Adam crossover,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So further casting news. It's all casting news today. I'm telling you. We have Mr. Pierce Brosnan, who people will know from James Bond and Mamma Mia. He has been cast in Black Adam as Dr. Fate.
Ooh, yeah!
So people will, instantly recognize Dr. Fate for his, his golden helmet and his very recognizable look. I don't really know much about him in the comics, so this is kind of going to be my first, my first real introduction to the character. And I really like. Well, I don't really like, but I like Pierce Brosnan in all of his Bond films. He can't sing, but he's all right in Mamma Mia. And so yeah, I'm very excited to see the roster in Black Adam, which is filming in 3 weeks, according to Dwayne Johnson. I'm looking forward to see what happens. What do you think?
Yeah, very excited for that, because I got introduced the character Dr. Fate possibly in Dark Knight Metal.
Oh right.
Or in Deceased.
Okay. I was actually introduced.
He's the most important character to in the magical like part of DC, like with Zatanna, John Constantine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually introduced to him in Lego Batman 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a level where Robin like puts on his helmet.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty excited because I think he would definitely fit in the role of the character of Dr. Fate. Yeah. So looking forward for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, casting news, lovely. This is actually, not the happiest for me, but obviously a couple of weeks ago, we found out that Nora Allen has been cast for The Flash, and we found out the sad news that Billy Crudup will unfortunately not be reprising his role as Henry Allen due to scheduling conflicts for the Flash film. So instead, Ron Livingston, who people will know from The Conjuring, which I've seen, I can't remember him in it, but he is replacing Crudup in the Flash film. Which is, I really like, especially when watching Zack Snyder Justice League, I really like Henry Allen and his relationship with Barry. I love that scene where he's obviously the whole make your own future thing, and his foot's in the door. My kid's doing something with his life. I really like that, and I hope that Ron Livingston can kind of carry that. What do you think?
Yeah. So, wait, I didn't get the names again. You kind of blurred out. I know that.
So Billy Crudup, who originally played him, has been replaced by Ron Livingston.
Yeah. Oh, Ron. Yeah, I misheard. I thought you said someone else. So I thought, oh, okay. But
it was Ronald Weasley the whole time.
Pretty. Pretty excited because there's a different actor, but it's kind of it's a shame that we can't see Billy Crudup anymore. But it's going to be interesting to see another actor taking up the mantle for something that is quite serious. Cool.
So this is we got yesterday. We got our first look. Well, not our first look, but we got a couple of posters and a trailer for the Suicide Squad. So our first kind of first proper trailer of the film. Getting to know some sort of plot beats. Revealing the villain, which of course is Starro. Some revelations such as Sylvester Stallone. He previously had a unknown role, but now we know that Stallone is playing King Shark, who everyone's really excited about. And what did you think of the trailer?
I really love it. It's really cool to see all the different actors that we never seen put together on screen for a very comedic also / action film. I mean, you got John Cena, you got Idris Elba. I'm not saying that right.
No, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I forgot his name. It's Rucker something. Is it John Rucker? The guy who plays John Doe.
Michael Rooker.
Sorry?
Michael Rooker.
Oh, Rooker. Yeah. Pete Davidson. Straight off the bat, I can tell Pete Davidson's character is going to die off quickly at the first stage of the film.
Well, this is the thing, all right. Obviously, the whole kind of idea of this is who lives and who dies. Don't get too attached, and that's cool. But it feels like we already know. The trailer so heavily featured some members of the squad, and some and others weren't. The posters. It's all Idris Elba, David Dastmalchian, Danielle Melchior, I can't remember her name, John Cena, Margot Robbie. It's all those, Joel Kinnaman. It's all those guys. It's the main kind of members, and other people Captain Boomerang, The Thinker, Javelin, TDK. All of these people. It doesn't look like they're gonna be, surviving, which is cool. But it feels like in terms of marketing, it's I would like it so I literally don't have no idea who's gonna live or die. But I kind of feel like I already know.
But yeah, this is going to be interesting because I feel like that's what James Gunn is trying to do. Like, we don't know any of these characters from like the very very early stages of like villain history of DC history, and they're gonna die off quickly. I think that's just what trying to do. Like, oh, these characters, oh, he just died. So I feel like that's what it's trying to do. Like, it's they're not trying to be forgotten, but like they're trying to be like remembered because those villains like died off quickly in the comics. I think that's what you're trying to do, but I don't know.
Yes. Well, obviously, I think James Gunn has done a great job with the Guardians films. I think I really trust him for this film. It looks funny. It looks like the action looks good. It looks like it's well shot. It looks interesting. It seems to have like that kind of flair that we were talking about before. So I think that some of the CGI isn't finished yet. I think King Shark. I'm not exactly sure what I feel about him, but he was only in a couple of moments. But I'm excited to see so much of it. I think this also plays into the fact that I think they are reluctant to release David Ayer's Suicide Squad specifically because of this film coming out. I feel like they don't want two Suicide Squads at the same time. But it's great, I think can't go wrong with some Harley Quinn, can't go wrong with some Idris Elba, John Cena, all that stuff. I'm very very excited to see Peter Capaldi as the Thinker. So many great things. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and seeing that character Starro. Oh,
yes.
I keep saying it wrong. It's Starro. Starro. It's really really cool because he that character was introduced from the 1960s, the Justice League of America, and that was like the first proper introduction of like him like being the first Crisis, I think. Well, not there was no Crisis title, but like you know what I mean, like
yes.
Like kind of Crisis,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very very excited to see it. Hopefully, it's not going to be the one in 2016.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to be like that. As I said before, I think DC are giving their directors and their creatives, they're letting them do what they want for the most part. And I think, if you look at the first trailer for the 2016 Suicide Squad, it looks really good and looks so different to what we got. So I think, hopefully the same doesn't happen with this one because it's already getting, people already seem quite happy with it, so that's good.
Yeah, and the poster looks great.
It does, yes.
Yeah, so when's that coming out? May?
That's coming out in August.
Oh, August. I thought it was coming out May. I don't know why.
No, yeah, so still quite a bit of time to wait for that one. Let me have a look specifically. 6th of August.
Yeah, 6th of August, right. Yeah. So that's going to be a fun summer.
Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully we get to see it at the cinema, but, who knows. So our very final piece of news before we move on to Falcon and the Winter Soldier is we are going to be getting a Ghost of Tsushima film directed by Chad Stahelski, who directed John Wick. All 3 John Wicks, and yeah, I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima myself, but I have seen a lot of it, and it's a beautiful game. I'm a big fan of a lot of the stuff it does, the story, the aesthetics, very very cool. I know that you're more familiar with it, so what do you think?
I haven't played the game, but I'll be definitely getting it because it's my sort of type of game. Because like with the old samurai films, I haven't watched a lot, but I really like the old samurai because it looks really cool, and exploring more of like what a samurai does or a lot like that. So it's going to be really cool to see that, and hopefully that will bring back like the old samurai, like black and white type feel, but I don't know if they're going to do that, but that'd be really cool. But again, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this. Hopefully it's not going to be like the video game curse, So
yeah, that is always a problem. But I think slowly but surely they're kind of getting out of that. Like a lot of the recent not comic book films, video game films have been quite popular. Sonic the Hedgehog, Detective Pikachu. A lot of people are excited for Mortal Kombat. So
yeah.
Oh
yeah, Mortal Kombat's coming out April, right?
It is, yeah. I don't know how we're going to get it in the UK, but if we have any way, I'm sure we'll cover it on the pod.
Yeah, I'm excited to talking about that, and especially I'm a fan of the Mortal Kombat games, and excited to see what's going to happen. Yeah,
definitely. Right, let's go on to our main subject. Let's talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Okay, so a little.
Get out.
What? What?
I mean,
what?
Sure. Just make sure you're just gonna listen properly for the next 24 minutes of talking about Falcon, Winter
Falcon and the Soldier Man.
Yeah, Birdman and
the unexpected virtue of ignorance.
And Arm Guy.
And Arm Man. Yeah.
That reminds me, the character, the Suicide Squad that Nathan Fillion is going to play, yes. TDK.
Yes.
What's his name? Arm
Fall Off Boy in the comics, I think.
Let's get into it. Okay.
Let's talk. I think first of all, it's a little bit of background to say. I wasn't a huge fan of WandaVision. There were some good episodes, but mostly
watching WandaVision.
Yeah, it was. The good episodes there were overshadowed by some real disappointing stuff.
Yeah, and I've been through arguments through WandaVision, like people saying, "Oh, it's so good." I'm like, "Well, is it though?"
Yeah, there's a lot in WandaVision that I think just really, frustrated me. And it's not the kind of, for me it wasn't the kind of, like, oh, why wasn't Doctor Strange there? I just think it wasn't well put together.
Yeah.
However, now WandaVision didn't make me excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Not at all. The trailers I thought were fine, but WandaVision did not make me have any faith. But consider me so wrong. This show I am loving it so far. It's so good at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm just very happy to see that because there's a lot more characterization that's so explored within with Falcon and with Bucky. It's Sam and Bucky, and seeing them together is great. And what the trailers showing us, it's going to be it's going to be this comic book this buddy cop TV show or something like that. But no, I was wrong. It's really good. And having seen through WandaVision, I thought, Marvel can't do something like this. But no, again, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I think I just think that it's clearly going for a different thing, and I think it's really working so far. Okay, okay, so how we should do it, I think let's talk about episode 1 first, and then we'll kind of roll it into episode 2.
Let's get into episode 1 like it's nothing.
There's a lot more than nothing, I would say.
So where should we start? Okay, so it opens up with Falcon saving a sergeant from the people from Siberia. No, not Siberia. Somewhere
it's somewhere that he can't go to. I think immediately it's interesting. They don't explicitly state it, but it's interesting that you see the effects of something like the Sokovia Accord. Falcon isn't permitted to go past a certain point, and I think that adds an extra level of tension to this whole little action scene.
And I thought, oh, okay, this looks a bit generic at the start, but no, yes. There's going to be an action scene, Sam saving this, but But it's great to see like more action with Sam saving more and like flying through the canyon. Is it no, not the canyon, but it looks
Yeah,
like
no, I think it was a canyon.
really.
Yeah, it was a canyon of sorts. Well,
Yeah.
I originally I did think, oh, this is gonna like I thought, the action was shot well. I thought that the scene was quite, the special effects were great.
Yeah, but
I immediately, you notice things like Falcon doesn't have his guns anymore.
yeah,
Red Wing does have some kind of weapons, but he's fighting differently to how we saw him. But I watched this episode on the Sunday or maybe Saturday after it came out, and I'd heard good things, but I was a little bit like, yeah, well, people said WandaVision was good, and I wasn't that much of a fan, so I wasn't. But immediately, like with the opening, like the opening with like small things like Sam ironing his suit, and like being quite unsure about the shield. I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting, and I thought the action was fine, but where it really got into the meat of it was the way that it, explored these characters in a way that no other MCU hero has been explored in this way since Captain America, I would argue.
yeah. Like you see, like the effects of like the snap and the blimp, the blimp,
the blimp.
The blimp! No, the blimp!
It's coming from above!
No, it's gonna explode! It's just really, really, like, interesting to see how, like, people, the characters that are affected by the blip, whereas WandaVision really didn't explore that much. It was like, oh no, Vision, oh, Monica just appeared. But oh no, Vision, like, something like that.
Yeah.
But, like, you see, like, Sam really struggling, trying to get his sister. Wait, is it sister?
Yes, his sister.
Oh, sister. Trying to get loans from something.
Yeah, a really interesting thing, was Tony Stark, never paid for the Avengers, that whole thing. And I really appreciated that. That's how it is in the comics. And it's not just, I didn't like it just because of the comic book accuracy. I thought that it was so good to see, these people have to struggle on their own, especially a black superhero such as Falcon. This show really goes into that, political themes. There's the scene where he's at the bank and, they are like as black people, they are struggling. The white guy at the bank is, he doesn't want to give him a loan, and he's kind of skeptical. He's like, I don't see how this is going to work for you. His sister makes comments on how this doesn't work for people like them, and then like the kind of the tone in the scene shifts when the guy at the bank realizes that Falcon is. Falcon is Falcon. He's like, oh my god, I know you. Wow, you're so cool and all that. And it's like you get that even more in episode 2, which we'll talk about a bit later. But like the way that the show presents his struggle as a person, not just a superhero, and in a lot of ways, it makes me sad that they don't do this for Spider-Man. Like,
oh yes,
everyone's saying, oh, Spider-Man doesn't need to have financial troubles and stuff because Tony Stark will just pay for him. Like, well, now it's making me think: is Tony Stark paying for this kid, but not like all the other Avengers? Like, Sam is literally struggling to make ends meet. Like he might have to sell the family boat, which is really important to him. And Peter, he's fine. He's having girl troubles at school. I really appreciate. I've always really liked Falcon, but this makes me love him even more,
Yeah, like, it's just more relatable and, like, exploring more of, like, the struggles. So, yeah, he's, like, very well explored because in like, Civil War or Captain America, the Winter Soldier, or like that, he's, like, a bit left out, but in Winter Soldier he's more into the story, but whereas like in Avengers Infinity War or Civil War or all of those like massive Avengers films, he's not really in it, and that's kind of a bit sad. But like,
yeah, I think Falcon's always been cool, but he's always kind of fallen, you know, um, oh, what's the word? He's fallen. Oh my god,
He's fallen.
he's fallen. He's gone. He's dead. He's dead now. But he suffers from the, you know, superhero best friend thing. You know, he falls to the black best friend trope where he's there. He makes some cool, like, funny one-liners. He's charming and all that, but he doesn't really have like a proper, like, arc. You know, like he has like interesting, like, character beats in Winter Soldier and Civil War, but as he says in Winter Soldier, he basically just does what Captain America does, but slower. And now we finally get a chance to see who he is, and I think that's really, really, you know, valuable, and it makes me like him so much more. I always liked him in the action scenes. I thought he was, you know, charming, and you know, there's something interesting there, but it's so good to finally see him developed in a way that I think he deserves.
Yeah, and I'm pretty glad to have a character that's left out but more explored into the TV show. Yeah. So then we get to see Bucky.
We do.
So Bucky, this is like more like that. That is like deep. Something that, like, I can't say it right. Something that deep is something happening inside with Bucky, that he's having nightmares, and it's really, really interesting and sad to see of him, like, trying to fit into society and trying to, you know, like, he's been with Hydra and for a long time, and it's really, and another thing that I really like, that he has a friend from I don't know, from the war, was it, like, he met,
No,
like,
well, I can't believe you didn't pick up on that. He's hanging around with this old man, and like halfway through the scene, you realize, or at least I realized, that the scene that they showed, Bucky has a nightmare about killing this young guy, and I figured out that the young guy is the son of the old man that he's hanging out with. Bucky's
yeah.
Bucky's hanging out with him because, you know, he killed his son and he feels guilty. You know, it felt like in the other films, Bucky was, you know, a terrorist for so many years. He did the Hydra's bidding. Obviously, it wasn't him and all that, but, you know, Cap protects him. You know, Tony gets angry at him, but eventually he's forgiven. You know, he's brought to Wakanda. He gets a chance to heal, but there's no consequences. You know, he doesn't really get like as a character. Like, sure, like the Avengers split up because of it, but as a character for him, he doesn't get any like comeuppance, no consequences. And I really, really appreciate the fact that when he comes back, you know, he's on parole. He has to, you know, he has to be in therapy. He has his 3 rules. He can't hurt anyone and all these things because he's seen as such a danger to society. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, really like to explore a character that, you know, like he's been like a threat to Steve, and to see that, you know, like, you know, like there's like a different character, like the perspective, like, you know, like when Steve got trapped under the ice for like 80 years, and that's just so devastating, and to see something like what Bucky's going through, he's having these nightmares, and like, whereas Steve was like, okay, I'm good, but like he's been through a lot of stuff, Bucky. So yeah, so that's interesting to see, but also sad. And I don't know why, but like I really like the Winter Soldier in this one. He's a bit more, you know, I don't know, but more likable. I don't know, like, I mean, in the first, Captain America, the first Avenger, he's like that same old, you know, from the 40s. Yeah, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
that old personality, but like him trying to fit in like the modern world, like he's trying to have dates through like Tinder, and he's trying to do something, and he's like an old man. Well, he is an old man, just to fit in. And what else?
Yeah, it feels very much similar to Captain America's struggle in, most of his films. Well, I guess Captain America's struggle in Winter Soldier and Avengers Assemble specifically. He has that kind of struggle where he's kind of moving into this modern world, and he still is like, he's getting over this, his past that he's still living in. I think the idea that you have that for Bucky, with the added guilt, the added layers of the fact that he was part of this kind of, he contributed to making such a bad world, such as, there's a scene where he sees a senator that he helped get in power, and she's abusing her power, and he like helps take her down. And he's trying to make amends and trying to feel better for what he's done. But,
Yeah.
I really appreciate how, there's so much kind of going on beneath the surface. And he's not just a blank slate. I always kind of saw him as a blank slate in the MCU. In the films, I was never like a huge kind of fan of his character. And I'm so happy that finally he, I think both of these characters have kind of just been sidekicks, Captain America. And I'm really happy that they have like been able to come into the limelight and be developed in such a sophisticated way.
Yeah, and there was like really good stuff, like the interaction with oh no wait, that's in the second episode. We'll talk about that. Like this the first time we see a Captain America, but his name is John Walker.
Yes.
So this is the first time we see like a standing Captain America, and the scene just really like makes us like feel, I don't know why, but it just makes us like very angry, but like very sad. Like there's like a fake Captain America, and he's just like a bit suspicious. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, I think Falcon struggles to do the right thing with the shield. He doesn't feel like he can take the shield up. He feels like it doesn't belong to him. He feels like, becoming Captain America and stepping into that mantle is, too much for him. It's a burden that he can't bear. And I think the idea that he has to give it up and then he has to see someone else take it and, in his eyes kind of spit on everything that the Captain America is supposed to be, taking it back to the kind of poster boy that he was in the 40s, and not this kind of hero and symbol. And they develop that more in episode 2. But I think it's a very nice way of ending the episode in the quiet moment. And I don't think they waste it either. It's not an Evan Peters in WandaVision. It has weight to the characters. They all know what it means. We all know what it means, and they develop it really nicely in episode 2.
Yeah, we all know what it means.
We all know what it means.
By episode 2.
Wait, I've got one more thing about episode 1.
Oh, okay.
Rhodey showed up when Sam was passing the shield over to the museum, and Rhodey and Sam have a little talk. And I want to say Rhodey is one of my least favorite characters in the MCU. Period. I think he's just an annoying kind, like 90% of the time, he's just an annoying father figure for Tony, and he doesn't, and he makes insensitive jokes, especially at the expense of Thor in Endgame. He isn't particularly likable to me, and also, I don't think Don Cheadle's terrible in the role. I did prefer Terrence Howard. I think he felt more like a bro to Tony than like a father figure. He felt like he cared about him a little bit more. However, this is the first time in the MCU that I've properly liked Rhodey as a character since Iron Man 1, pretty much. And so I did really, really, appreciate that, Rhodey is, this kind of, he's just being a nice guy and a friend for Sam. They don't really get into it, but there's a kind of, I felt like there was a kind of silent acknowledgement that they both kind of understood, because Rhodey is kind of that he's like the other Iron Man. And I feel like they both kind of have that kind of, Falcon is kind of like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't want to be Captain America, and Rhodey's almost like, I don't want to be Iron Man. I can't be Iron Patriot. Like I feel like they have that kind of shared thing, and I really appreciated seeing that, and it kind of made me a little bit more excited for Armor Wars.
Oh yeah, Armor War. Oh yeah, I'm not really excited for that, but
No, me neither. But I think now, like, seeing this and seeing how well that they've developed side characters, and in WandaVision too, I think they developed Wanda and Vision quite well. I think seeing this already, I'm like, you know what? The Marvel shows could actually do really, really well in developing these characters that we've known over certain films.
yeah, and seeing like him trying to like support Sam for something, that is massive to put down. Like
Yes.
the sheep. So yeah, so that's like the first time I really like. Oh, there's Rhodey. Yeah. So what else? Yeah, I really like this episode. It just gave us like a really good start to what yet to come. You know what I mean? Like something to explore more of these two characters, and yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about episode 2, shall we?
Yep.
I would argue episode 2 might, I was expecting a drop in quality, but I think it's just as good.
Yeah, I feel like that it just gives us like a really good, flow from a good continuous. Continuancy, like from the first episode to the second episode, and it just works really well. And we get like a first proper introduction to John Walker.
We do,
and you, it's just it feels weird to see someone like trying to take up the mantle for Captain America, and you feel like he's a bit very suspicious of what he's trying to like what is his goal. Like, so
yeah, there was an air of suspicion about him, but what I appreciated a lot was, so I expected a Hayward from him. In WandaVision, Hayward was, this one-note character who was just like, a flat-out antagonist, and that's what I expected from him. But from his very first scene in this episode, I saw this guy isn't just, he's worried about taking up the mantle of Captain America. He wants to do it well, and he wants to, and he's worried that he might not be the right guy for it. He's worried that, he says someone like me, he doesn't feel, like, and the whole time, apart from like the final scene where he's like, okay, if you're not going to be with me, then stay out of my way. The whole time he does feel like he's trying to do his best, and he looks out for his friends, and he tries to be nice to Falcon and Bucky. He understands that he's not Steve, and he's not trying to be, but he's trying to and he's just trying to do his job. And I was again surprised at how sophisticated they made him, considering how I was just expecting another Hayward who's just like, oh, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, no, not a fan of these guys. And that was... I'm just so surprised this show keeps on hitting me with such nuance, which is so, like, unexpected.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool to see, like, we're not getting, like, a Hayward, we said. So, what else I would say? You probably thinking, why, John? Why do you think he's very suspicious? I mean, it's Captain America, like someone to take up the mantle for Captain America, and I'm thinking, like, what is his end game? So I'm pretty
End game.
I'm pretty interested to see more of like of this character throughout the show, of like what he's gonna like interacting like more of with Bucky and Sam, and seeing what like the consequences of what he's doing towards the consequence towards the story and the narrative as well, and seeing how he could have an impact towards us and the characters as well. I'm hoping, like, again, we don't get Hayward, because I feel like we need another like character to help us understand more of the show and why he is like taking up the mantle. You know what I mean? Like to understand more characters in in a different way.
I feel like, you know, it in a similar way to the Winter Soldier, you're presenting a world of, you know, sophistication where all the characters aren't just black and white. There's a lot of grey, you know. The characters have these layers to them that, you know, layers like an onion. And it feels like if you just present a character who's so, you know, randomly, you know, unsophisticated, then, you know, it all kind of starts to unravel, you know. I think that this show captures what the Russos did so well in their tenure in the MCU. They never had black and white characters. Even the stuff in their films that I flat out hate, like Professor Hulk, he has like even one moment where he has a little bit of character depth. And I think that this show really captures that in a very nice way. I think there's a moment, or there's a scene where they go to meet Isaiah Bradley, and you find out that he is another super soldier, and he has this whole speech about how, you know, he tried to be a hero, and, you know, he was subjected to testing, and it references the horrific tests that were, you know, like carried out on black people in, you know, that kind of era of the 40s and 50s, and, you know, the fact that, you know, like, he was given the opportunity to be the new Captain America, and then he was just, you know, cast aside and turned into this, you know, like lab rat they were just experimenting on to make, you know, the next white Captain America, you know, by the good guys and the bad. And I think that's really interesting to kind of look at it that way. And I think, again, you know, Captain America exists in a political world. You know, all of his stories do. In the MCU they have, and in the comics they have. And the fact that, you know, Falcon is going to be the one taking up the Captain America mantle, the fact that these two characters, Falcon and Winter Soldier, are going to be keeping on Captain America's story. I think the fact that this show is grounded in political themes is so good, whether that be race or PTSD or anything else. It's done so incredibly well. And that's what WandaVision needed more of, you know. WandaVision became such a black and white, formulaic, you know, hodgepodge of amazing scenes with, like, you know, these horribly generic, like, characters and antagonists. But this is taking it in a new realm, and I can't get enough of it, man. I'm loving it so much.
Yeah, and it just works really well with the characterization. It just, again, explores more of it, and can't wait to see more of them together.
This is obviously the first time that because obviously they didn't even speak last episode, so they have a bit of banter. Like, because obviously, like, this episode they're together, they have like more banter. What did you kind of think about their kind of dynamic together?
Yeah, I like the banter. It's not too heavily relied on the banter with the characters, because
I agree.
Like, it's well balanced. Like, it's, you know, like, sometimes with the MCU they like question what's going on. I mean, like what Hawkeye did, like in Age of Ultron, like saying, "We're on a floating city. I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense." And, you know, like, sometimes they have that weird question, and it's just like kinda breaking the fourth, you know, breaking the audience. But no, what Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's like more funny, and it's relatable, and like the dynamic between Sam is like the very comedic, like funny, whereas Bucky is very serious and trying to be stealthy. Like that scene where they're trying to infiltrate, like finding out what the Flag Smashers are going to do.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's really, really fun. It's really funny to see that, like, oh, you're being stealthy, and
yeah, right. I think that I was very worried about certain scenes from the trailer, specifically the staring contest. But, you know, first of all, it's nowhere near as bad as some of the other MCU films or shows. You know, again, WandaVision and Darcy. We talked about how annoying some of Darcy's lines were.
My.
Right, exactly. And I think they do it a lot better than that. And not only do they do it better, they, you know, they use the moments as character building moments, and also, like, if you think about that scene where they have the staring contest, they take the staring contest and then they use that as a way for, Bucky to lay down, put down all of his cards and be like, hey, why did you give up the shield? And Sam kind of, kind of expresses some of his vulnerabilities, before kind of, leaving. And I think that they do that in a really believable way, that everyone's not just making jokes all the time. It doesn't feel, as you said, like Age of Ultron, like that kind of, the city's flying, we're fighting robots, and I have a bow and arrow. What are we gonna do? It feels like a lot more like this is something that would happen in the real world.
Yeah, and it's more, again, relatable of what's going on. And what else? And then we get to see John Walker and his friend. I forgot his friend's name.
Yeah, what's his friend called?
Battlestar.
Battlestar, that's right. Jesus. Yeah, he's from the comics too.
Okay. So we get to see them work together. And let me tell you, John Walker, it's kind of a bit annoying, guys, get in. We're gonna go for we're gonna be in the mountain. We're gonna work together. And
we're gonna have a lovely friendly ride. Everyone, get in. Come on.
We're gonna work together.
Listen to some music.
Some classical music with Chopin and yeah. So hopefully he will be that annoying for future episodes, but I think that's just to see the dynamic between with the two characters. He's more self-centered, worried about himself. I feel like that's what he's trying to do, saying, "Oh, I'm not trying to be Captain America. I'm trying to be the best I can be." That just sounds.
Yeah, he isn't worried about the mission or anything. He's worried about his own, how people perceive him as Captain America. He's not worried about the fact that he might be tarnishing this. Well, he's worried that he might be tarnishing the symbol, but he's more worried that that will reflect badly on him, and not that the symbol will be broken, or that, he won't be able to stop the Flag Smashers. Speaking of which, what do you think of the Flag Smashers?
I don't know. I think they're going to be interesting to what's happening in the story. I mean, they're smuggling vaccines, medicine, all of that for the to understand more of what they're what they're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the blip and trying to bring back peace. I think to. I think they're not trying to use violence, but they're trying to do something. And but the one thing that really threw me off was the woman with the red hair, the
yes,
freckled one.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but this really threw me off. She was speaking in the British accent. I was like, oh, because I don't know why. It's just she just have that British accent. I was like, oh, okay, because I thought. It was just, I don't know why that.
She's in Solo.
She is. I forgot about it, but I don't know why that British accent just threw me off. That's not a negative criticism, but I just found that funny. Just hearing that British accent somewhere in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm like, British. Oh, I don't know why.
Oh yes, I am British. Hello.
Hello, what's going on here? Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, you've become a British policeman.
Oh, no.
You've become a cobber.
Do you have a fishing licence?
A fishing licence? What?
There's a video of, a guy trying to go, oh, do you have a fishing licence? No, sir. Oh, you're going to get arrested.
Oh, Neil, you and your memes.
Come on.
But yeah.
That goes are way beyond your understanding.
Catch me if you can, Flash. But yeah, I think it's interesting that there are a group of people after the blip who are happy. They were happier back in the snap. They.
Sorry.
Yeah, of course. And they're also going to become country singers, apparently. But they sympathise with Thanos's, his agenda, and they think that it was, a good idea. And I think it's interesting that, it makes sense people would carry that on. I mean, think about the real world. There are people out there who, support Hitler's ideas. So it makes sense that these people are, would, be, on board with what Thanos was proposing. Even though it seems like that what they're doing is, instead of doing what he's doing, which seems to be,
helping.
Yeah, they seem to be helping more. Like he was like destroying things, but it seems like they're doing giving. The when they go into their base and the guy there says like, oh, people see you as kind of like Robin Hood. So it seems that they have more of a kind of a nuanced. I'm using nuance a lot today because that is what this show is doing. It's taking concepts. It's taking concepts and breaking that. And I think, Zemo as well, who is teased at the end of this episode, which was a really cool scene. But Zemo, perhaps he is in the same boat. A lot of people have proposed that he wears his mask. He dons the purple mask because it looks like Thanos' face, It has the purple and, like, the lines. And I think it's interesting that maybe, more people were okay with it. Thanos' ideas weren't just him and his kind of followers. There were other people who, in the time of the snap, got, like that perspective. And I think, same with WandaVision, I really enjoy how it treats the snap and the blip, with consequence, and not just like Spider-Man Far From Home, where it's all kind of played as a joke,
Oh, yeah, and it's taking more. Sorry.
Am I boring you, John?
No.
I'm boring you with my intellectual film debates.
No.
It's really not. It's really not intellectual.
No. Like it's taken more seriously. Taking a serious approach. And I'm happy that they're doing it, properly. Like what you said. Oh, it's not taken as a joke. But WandaVision is like only there for like one scene as a consequence. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite scenes in WandaVision. That whole blip scene where you see Monica wake up from the blip. I think that these shows so far are doing a good job of exploring that. Yeah, so, in this episode there was, like, the one big bit of action with, the Flag Smashers and Falcon and Bucky on the truck and, Battlestar and Captain America. God, I hate the fact that we're calling him Captain America. John Walker. I'm not going to call that guy Captain America. He's not my Captain America.
Not my Captain America.
Hashtag not my Captain America. But yeah, they come to help, and I thought that action was so good. It was fast, it was kinetic, there were some nice moments of levity, the fact that they used the super soldier abilities to, like, a really good effect, and the fact that, Battlestar, John Walker, and Falcon were all kind of, at odds because they weren't super soldiers, and they're kind of having to, like, weave in between. I really enjoyed, that thing. I thought it was really, really cool. And, there were so many cool, like, uses of powers. The way that Falcon uses wings is always cool. I loved how Bucky uses his, like, arm to kind of, like, steady himself. And I think that, John Walker throwing the shield, he really, used it to great effect. And there's something. So this show is scored by Henry Jackman. Henry Jackman did the theme for Captain America: Winter Soldier and Captain America: Civil War. And I just want to say, when John Walker arrived, it was the greatest thing because Henry Jackman played the Captain America theme from Winter Soldier, and I noticed, and I thought it was so clever. And in that scene, they also played Falcon's theme from the Winter Soldier, and I just thought that was so like the fact that they're trying, because the MCU, like, it rarely ever uses the same themes. There's like 7 different themes for Iron Man. They don't stick to one, and the fact that they brought that one back. Earlier in the episode, they used, the Star Spangled Man theme from First Avenger. It was so good. I thought it was great.
Yes.
So yeah, what did you think of that action scene?
Yeah, I thought that was really engaging to watch. And yeah, I like similar to like the one like to the opening start of the show, but I felt like this was more again engaging to watch and like to explore like the teamwork between like with Sam and Bucky, and then you see like the juxtaposition between like with character John Walker and Battlestar working together, and you see the juxtaposition like they're a team, but whereas Sam and Bucky are trying to work together, but they have no idea how it's going to work. And
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.
yeah, that's really interesting to see, and hopefully we'll see like an arc with them like working together properly, and yeah, and I really like it, and to like what they're doing with what they have like Sam flying around and using some of this to fight these flag smashers and they're struggling, and then again juxtaposition. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Do you have any more comments to make?
What else? I really like there is like not like again I just want to say the characterization is just great in the TV show. I just
It really
feel like
is.
yeah, I feel like it's more fleshed out and seeing more of the problems what the characters are getting into, and I just feel like I'm just so relieved and satisfied that this is not going to be like WandaVision, because WandaVision was a mess and
Yeah, I swear, if Falcon and the Winter Soldier dropped the ball, because I remember WandaVision started out fine, it got great, and then it really, really dropped the ball. And I swear, if Falcon and Winter Soldier dropped the ball, I'm going to be so upset, because it's going so well at the moment. And I'm really, really enjoying it. I want to just say real quickly, a scene that I loved was the scene with the cops. Again, the political themes, the racism, showing that kind of systemic racism, having a criticism of America, showing the police come in and be like, kind of see that, see Sam as a black man and be threatened and being like, hold on, are you bothering him? And it's like, no, it's like, let me see, your ID and stuff. Like, that was, like, proper, like, harrowing, like, getting to see a superhero have that. Not only is it a great message for kids, like, I imagine kids watching this, like, it's great that they get to see, this kind of real-world commentary, like, stuff from Black Panther, and you see it in, like, America, which is, so good. Really great to see that.
I forgot about that scene. I really like what, like, superheroes don't like get with racism. It's explored more, because I feel like that Marvel doesn't like really get into the much of the political and racism. But I really like what WandaVision's. No, sorry. No, I was about to say this so down.
No.
What Falcon and Winter Soldier's doing here. So I really like that, and so yeah, just to explore more.
Yeah, definitely. I always kind of, Marvel have always kind of, not shied away, but it's not what I would expect them to do. And obviously, as I said, Captain America has always been entrenched in these kind of political themes. And so the fact that they aren't shying away from it, and then they are doing it, and I don't expect them to go all out. I don't expect them to do a Spike Lee or something, because, we're still looking at a superhero show, but the fact that it goes that extra mile is just incredible, and I'm loving it so much. And again, I swear, if they drop the ball on this, Feige, I am coming to your house, and I'm going to cry on your doorstep, because, like, God, it's going so well at the moment.
I was mad at my doorstep. I was like, so, like Arnold, like shouting down to the children in, that film.
Oh yeah. Shut up!
So, so hopefully they won't drop the ball or do something really weird with the characters, or like make a plot twist or something.
Hopefully.
It was weird all along.
Ralph Boner, John. Ralph Boner, John.
What?
John Boner. It's a boner joke. It's boner.
Oh, a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, that's actually Ralph Boner." No,
I am going to kill myself. However,
really, you think of that? Wow. And then people seem saying, "Well, that's actually not Ralph Boner." Are you?
Did you what? It is, unfortunately. But that actually, I mean, do you have anything else to say about Falcon and Winter Soldier?
No, I have no negative comments because I am really, really enjoying the show.
Great.
Recommend it watching, but if well, the first 2 episodes, they're great. They're
So good.
They're great. And
So good.
if they drop the ball, I might not recommend the show. But
Shame.
Watch the first 2 episodes. They're great.
Yes,
Watch
they
it.
really are. Can't recommend enough, especially for Captain America fans. He's always been my favourite character in the MCU, and they are doing his legacy justice. But, speaking of Ralph Boner, that actually brings me really, really nicely into the weekly viewing segment. And I'm just gonna, hit the ground running, and talk about something that I watched last night. Actually, X-Men Apocalypse.
Ralph Boner.
It wasn't. I didn't watch Ralph Boner. I made it very clear. I watched X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, that film came out in 2016.
It
Yes,
did.
the Oscar Isaac blue.
God, why? I mean, Oscar Isaac is such a sexy man. Why would you do him why'd you do him dirty like that, dude?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I want to start off by saying, over the last couple of months, I've been rewatching all the X-Men films, apart from X-Men Origins, because no. So I've done First Class, X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, Wolverine, Days of Future Past, the Rogue Cut, and now I'm on Apocalypse. And I always liked this film when I was younger, and I was very, very wrong. It's 100% the worst one that I've watched so far.
Really? You thought that?
It doesn't hold up well at all. There's so many characters thrown in that it really doesn't know how to juggle them all. It drops all the themes and all the character development from the previous 2 films. It throws in the new characters being like Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jean Grey as people who you're supposed to kind of know and like, but they. First of all, they make them totally different to how they were before. So if you're supposed to kind of believe these are in the same continuity, it's hard to believe these are in the same characters. But they barely give them any development, and they kill characters unceremoniously. They take the plot off to random tangents just for a Wolverine cameo. Yes, spoiler alert. The villain the villain is so laughably generic, and his horsemen, I'm sorry, Storm gets nothing to do. Both Cyclops and Angel are the most laughable excuses for villains. Literally, the only good thing about this film, apart from a couple of scenes, there are actually some good scenes in there. The Quicksilver scene. The Quicksilver scene is really good. I prefer the one in X-Men Days of Future Past, but I really like his scene in this one. It's fast, it's energy, it's vibrant, it's energetic. It's what I kind of see to be him. I fell in love with it as a kid, and it's still great. The acting is good, especially from Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy. Of course, they're great in the role. There are some other great scenes, like before they go into the battle. Mystique tells them about her first time as a Thing, and it's really good if only it was earned. The only good thing about the film is Magneto, right? Magneto, as always, as my favourite Marvel villain, Magneto slaps so hard, man. He is so cool. He has his family, and then... Alright, full spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. You shouldn't care. But, Magneto has a family, and then he has to see the family get taken away from him, get murdered, and then there's the amazing scene where he comes in, and he says to his workers, I really did try to be normal, but you've messed with the wrong guy, and I'm gonna kill you all, and then the scene where he goes to Auschwitz, and he has that, burn out of energy, and he destroys the whole thing, Magneto's so good, and I don't want the MCU to try to do Magneto, because he is so incredible, and he's so good. I mean, he's fine at the end. But God, the Magneto in the first and second act, so good. Like, but other than that, the film. Oh, and also at the end of the film, it's got one of the best endings of any X-Men film, where all the X-Men, they're in their classic comic book outfits, so cool, and they're getting ready to fight in the danger room, and the doors close, and Charles is in there in the wheelchair. It's so cool, and it's really upsetting that they ditched those outfits. But there are so many things could have worked, but they've really dropped the ball. It's a real bad film. Yeah, I'm not a fan, and also all the outfits are really clunky for most of it. Like the Magneto outfit is laughably bulky. It's so weird, and I could go on about why I didn't like it forever. 4 out of 10. I wouldn't recommend it. Please, John, tell me what you watched this week.
I watched a really good film.
Good.
It's called Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a really good film. So first time watching it. So if you don't know the story, this might be this is new to the podcast. So the story is so this person Lou, and he's trying to find a job in the dark and also sunny Los Angeles, and don't sing that song on these hills. I'm reaching for the heights. Anyway, so Lou finds his passion, and his passion is to film some really something like some some police investigations or some shootouts or some murders that have been happening, that horrible happened, and he would just sends it to the news group. And this is like such a grim story, and it's dark as well because he's just using his passion to trying to use this for success, and it's just really messed up what he's trying to do. And it's just a really good film to watch. It's not too horrible what's going on, but it's just messed up what the Jake Gyllenhaal's character's doing. And I'm very, very surprised that he did not get an Oscar nomination for this. I mean, look at him. He's like the younger version of Joker. Like the one in the Batman New 52. That sleek hairstyle. That really one would like character. Facial expressions and like the way that he speaks, like hello, like some.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He Jake Gyllenhaal's great. But I think another great actor in that is Riz Ahmed. I just want to give him a shout out because he's got a new film coming out in the UK called Sound of Metal, where he plays a musician who's going deaf. And honestly, like I hear that he is like incredible in it, and he's got nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars. I just want to give him a shout out.
Really?
Yeah, I've got to give him a shout out because he's great, and he's done some other great films. He was in Rogue One and Venom, but that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, he's great in the film Nightcrawler. So he's great in that one.
Yeah.
What else? And it again, it's a grim story if you're into that, but I'm not really. But it's just films that we're into. So I would give the film 9 out of 10 or 10. I don't know. I have to watch it again because sometimes. Like if you're stopped watching the film or something, I just go back. But I just gave it 9 out of 10. But I'll be watching it again. Like in the future, I'll say again what's my final thing. But you know what I mean. So
yeah.
So I would recommend this film. So Tom, what else have you been watching?
Well, this is a TV show, so I've been watching it for a couple of weeks now. And it's just about to go on break, so I thought I'd mention it. Superman and Lois, right? So, Superman, for me, I think the original films are quite nice. There are some bad ones in there. I love Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. You can hear us talk about that on other podcasts. I've only ever, I've read Superman in Justice League, in Batman. I've read Death of Superman. But Superman's never really kind of connected with me as the way that it has some people. Like, my favourite like adaptation of Superman is Man of Steel. I really like how they bring that into the politics. And I have watched Supergirl, and I like the Superman in that, but they didn't really delve into him. And now watching Superman and Lois, the whole premise is that Lois and Clark, they move back to Smallville, and they have to kind of, deal with, like, they have to kind of try and, like, get back that kind of their, like, they have to try and be that kind of family unit with their two sons who are struggling with things, and there's the whole kind of question of, do the sons have superpowers? And the way that it presents, the difficulties of family life, and the way that they present, the difficulty of adolescence, particularly at a teenage, age of like 17, 16, so about our age really, the way that they present, the struggles that everyone kind of goes through, as mothers and fathers and husbands and wives and brothers and all that, the way they present it to the backdrop of, a Superman story is really interesting, and I'm really enjoying the way that it does it with, a lot. It's got a lot of artistic flair. The cinematography is great. The music, the fact that they made a great Superman theme in 1978, and then Hans Zimmer made a great one in 2013, and then they made another great one for Superman and Lois. That's mad. But I just love how this show, it does take Superman into the modern day in different ways, and it's so refreshing to see that Superman can still be done really, really well for everyone. I know that Man of Steel and Batman v Superman aren't for everyone, but I don't see why someone wouldn't like this show. It really, it's a real fresh take for the Arrowverse as well. I love the Arrow shows, and I think this, it does things in a really, interesting way, whilst having, that cool action scenes and, like the classic Superman stuff that you want. But the whole idea of Superman, trying to figure out how to kind of be a better father, it's like The Incredibles or something, and it is incredible. It's so well done. And yeah, see, that's a little pun in there for you, John. It's just really well done, and it's going on break, and they're going to start Supergirl again soon. But man, is it good. It's been renewed to season 2, and I hope that season 1 keeps on being as good as it is, because it's really good at the moment. And yeah, it's wonderful. So far I'd give it about an 8 out of 10, which that might not sound like as good as I'm giving it praise for. Obviously there's always the kind of CW show tropes with some of the dialogue, but other than that, I mean, I really can't fault it. The actors they've all got in are really, really good, and I'm not a huge fan of Superman suit, but other than that, you can find sorry, excuse me, the people who aren't in this country, aren't in the US, I'm watching it with a VPN, sponsored by NordVPN, but no, for people who can't watch it, you will, the first 5 minutes are on YouTube, officially released, and it's just some really good content. I'd really recommend it for Superman fans. So yeah, what else have you watched this week?
Just trying to think what I've watched. Okay. Let me just get my viewing book thing that I just used.
Your viewing book. I also have a viewing book. What's the list on my computer?
Watching. Okay. Okay, I haven't watched anything else, but I'm replaying the Arkham Knight.
Oh yes.
Yes, it's well, I played it like 3 years ago, and it's just like still the same. I really love it. It's just a really good game to play. But then again, I'm just like remembering some stuff that could have been better. Back tank. And another villain. I'm not going to spoil the villain because, well, okay, I'm not going to spoil it. But like Arkham Knight revealing as there's going to be a space. Dick Grayson. There you go. See,
it's not Dick Grayson.
Todd.
Wrong guy. You're thinking of the wrong man. Different Robin. Wait, what? The Arkham Knight's Jason Todd?
It's Jason Todd.
What a twist!
Oh my god. Okay, that was a counter spoiler. So if you were gonna play the game and big brain. Anyway, what was I gonna say? yeah, so I'm really enjoying it so far, and I like driving around the Batmobile, but if you press L2, sorry,
Jesus.
um, but I really like the like you have Joker alongside with you, just like like the visions that he's seeing, and like thinking about like and I think it just goes back to like the comics, like like, thinking about like Nightfall and like the things that he has to go through in this game, and and the visuals is still stunning. It's just so amazing to see the graphic, the detail in the game is just so spectacular. Like
It
there's
really.
there's like a 2-hour video on YouTube of all the details in Arkham Knight.
It's really mad how good. Like, obviously, it came out like what 6 years ago now.
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago. It's astonishing how good it still looks. Like it looks incredible. Like I played it, a couple months ago. I was playing Arkham City. I went back to play a bit of Arkham Knight. I did some challenges, and dude, it looks so good. And I don't understand, like, how does it look this good still? Like,
I don't know, but Rocksteady, you did really well. And wait, is there like another Batman game coming out called it's the Bat family, of course. But,
Gotham Knights, yeah.
I'm not, again, me and Tom are not huge fans of the Bat family.
No.
Yeah, we just don't like them. But anyway, so what else? So again, yeah, Rocksteady. It's just a great game to play if you're just bored or just want to do some challenges. But I'm doing the story. The story's great, but I wish there was some stuff to do, like like bringing back, like from Arkham Asylum, like the is it the what's the story that the Arkham Amadeus
Amadeus Arkham.
Amadeus Arkham, like about like the story that that this character's going through, and you're hearing the legend of it, and I wish that was like a link to that, like that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think I think Arkham Knight on its own is a decent game. I just think, and I think there's some amazing elements in it. I just think that it should as the final of a trilogy. Hell, as the final in a quadrilogy, if you include Arkham Knight, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins.
That's the best one for me.
That's my second favorite one. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, third favorite. But that's still really good. Like, don't literally the top three are all so good. I just think it's such a shame that they didn't that they didn't like continue stuff. They set up loads of things and they just didn't do anything good with it. Like, the Deathstroke fight is just appallingly average. The Azrael plot line is just wasted. There's so many elements that could have been expanded upon. Titan. Loads of things, and it makes me sad.
I think they just, like in the pitch meeting, they just went, what would be great? Tanks.
It'd be even better. More tanks.
No.
Yeah.
What would be even better?
What? Drones.
You know what would be even better?
Arkham Knight in an excavator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's else better?
Cloudburst. I swear to God, if no one's played this game, they're listening to us saying random words like Cloudburst. Everyone's like, what's happening? These guys are going crazy. Literally, we talked about the Snyder Cut for 2 hours last week. We've actually lost our minds.
Cloudburst.
Ah! Sorry.
And then, like the details that they're going to, and but the cool thing is that the game doesn't have like really cool boss fights, apart from the Riddler. That one.
Oh my God! The Riddler, I swear to God. Hey, Batman. Hey, Batman. You want to you want to drive on this race course? What the hell is that?
This
What's that
reminds
about?
me.
What's that about? What
6 years ago
What's
or
happening
4 years ago, we did the driving thing for Riddler, and it was so difficult. And then you put me into you gave me the controller because you thought, oh, John's really good at the game. So you thought me recent games. So you put me into it, and then we played, and then the song "I Had the Tiger" came on, and then we went,
dude.
yeah, we're gonna do it, and then we did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Terrible.
Yeah, I will say, as much as I'm disappointed by Arkham Knight, I had so much fun playing it. You know, when I was young, playing it with my friends. So I remember I was playing it with my friend on my birthday when I got it, and then the Man-Bat scene where you first encounter Man-Bat. It was just the funniest thing because like Man-Bat comes out of nowhere and it was terrifying. I have loads of great memories of that game.
I mean, when I see Man-Bat, like, haha, nice try, you're not going to get me. Yeah, so it's enjoyable, but not the best game of all time. But you know, like if you're bored, we'll do something like to be a tank. I mean, I wish that tank was less.
Yeah, hold down left trigger. Hold down left trigger. I dare you.
Okay.
You're a tank now.
No! The Diamondback!
I tell you what I do like, though. No. I do quite like a lot of the DLCs. Season of Infamy, actually, no, that was quite bad. The Ra's al Ghul stuff was cool, but it's great to get to play with all the different skins. I loved the Batman Beyond skin. I loved the Batfleck skin. Like, playing in the Tumbler and in the 89 Batmobile and in the Batfleck Batmobile. So very cool. I'm a big fan.
And there's the Dark Knight Return.
Yes.
There's the Dark Knight Return.
There's loads of different skins that are just so fun to play, and loads of different challenge maps as well. I think just the best part of the game really is the gameplay and the graphics. You know?
Yeah, gameplay and the graphics is just
you know Fear Multi Takedown.
Yeah,
is. It's so overpowered, but it's so good. Like I remember talking to my friend, and I was like, "Oh, I don't really like it," and he was like, "Okay." Replay it, and I played it like at one level of the Fear Multi Takedown, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is awesome."
Yeah, and so that would be it. I would give it a 7 out of 10 or 8, because it's not the best Arkham game of all time. Arkham City is for me.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, if people are interested in hearing our thoughts. You can watch the 4th episode of the podcast. So this is a long time ago. We did our favourite video games. We talked about We talked about the Arkham series. We also talked about Batman Telltale. Talked about Uncharted. Minecraft, Smash Bros, Legends of Zelda, Lego games. There literally so many games were covered. Jedi Fallen Order.
Zelda as well. So
yeah, right. There's so many that we covered. Definitely tune into that one.
So that'll be it from the weekly viewing.
Yeah. So that is it for the day. The day is done. The hurly-burly is run. I can't... Macbeth, right? Thank you for watching, everyone. And if you enjoyed, as always, subscribe if you want to see more and leave a like and watch some of our other videos because it's upsetting. Our Snyder Cut video isn't doing too well at the moment, which is really, really upsetting. But, that's fine. If you want to get in contact with us, send us an email. We will read it. We love hearing emails when they rarely happen. You can email us at oustimefilmpod@gmail.com or follow us and comment or DM us on Twitter or Instagram where we're at OusTimeFilmPod, or individually on Twitter. I am Tom the Boardman.
I'm not going to be active on Twitter, but I am ComedyJohn42 on Twitter.
You're not active? Wait, did you delete your account?
Well, I'm not really on Twitter as much, but
yeah, that's cool. No, yeah, I need to
I don't want to get into that rabbit hole of getting to Twitter. This. Oh, do you remember the time when that black and blue dress that was shown on Twitter, and then everyone was in a frenzy?
Oh boy, do I
it's
remember
white
that.
Gold. It's white and gold.
I remember that. Yeah.
And everyone hated each other.
It was like yeah, Twitter is but no. But yes, you can still find us on Twitter if you want. And next week we're going to be talking about Genndy Tartakovsky's original Star Wars Clone Wars. So on Friday, they are on Disney Plus. They are going to be uploading the very original Star Wars Clone Wars from 2003. We're going to watch it. And then we're going to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 3. And yeah, it's going to be a good old time. So come along if you are interested. And yeah, that's all from me. Stay safe, everyone, as always. Anything else to say, John?
Oh, yes, one more. So last week, I forgot to mention this, but I got the Hellbat figure from Amazon, and it's just really cool. And you can put it on screen, but it's just really cool to see, and I really love it. I just bought it because of the Snyder Cut, and I was like, let's do it. Come on, let's just. I mean, I just only live once, so I just thought, yeah, why not? So,
yes, that will be on screen right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
It's from the comic Batman and Robin. But the only good thing is that Robin's not mostly. He's dead. He's dead in this one.
Oh, flip yeah, dude.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, so after losing his son Damian, aka Robin, Batman eventually found temporary peace until Damian's body was stolen and taken to the fiery planet Apocalypse. Determined to bring Damian back to life. Don't bring him back. Sorry.
Yeah, Batman don't bring him. Bad idea, guys.
Batman dons the experimental Hellbat suit forged by the other members of the Justice League and ventures to the Hellscape Apocalypse and take on the virtually indestructible ruler Darkseid.
Wait, what? I want to read that.
Yeah, exactly. But the comic, it's impossible to get.
What? Wait, what? What would it do? What? What? Wait, what's it called? What's it called again?
So it's called Batman and Robin, and Robin Rises.
Robin Rises.
On Amazon, it's just sold out. Okay.
Wait, I found it.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's in stock.
It is in stock.
Yeah. It's right here. There it is.
Right.
£11.75. It looks great. £11.75.
That's a box.
Only 9 left in stock, so be quick. I will say it looks great, but it's volume 7, and I cannot be asked getting 6 volumes. So I'll let you get it, and then I'll borrow it. Thanks, dude.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm ordering that today because it's the Hellbat. Anyway, and it's a long comic. It's only like 300 pages or 400. I don't know. I think. Yeah.
Something like that.
It did say it was sold out, but now it's back in stock. Really?
It's back.
Oh my god. Okay. Right. That'll be it from me. So say goodbye to that Hellbat.
Oh my god, John.
Yeah.
This is the longest podcast.
What?
This is the longest podcast yet.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we're on 40. we're on 1 hour and 48 minutes.
Oh my god. Okay, everyone.
Monumental occasion.
We got a new record here. Oh my god.
We did it, everyone.
Okay, that'll be it from me. Sorry for this very long speech. But anyway, thank you. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back. Goodbye.
Goodbye.